Hello and welcome to Meldon Law and Friends, a weekly podcast brought to you by Meldon Law, a statewide law firm with its primary office in Gainesville, where we've been practicing, or I should say Jeffrey Meldon has been practicing for 50 years. He just got his 50-year acknowledgement from the Florida Bar. I've got Carrie Meldon here, the other named partner in Meldon Law joining me. My name is Chris Qualman, and Carrie, great to be doing the show.
It's going to be a special show today. Jeffrey is actually working. He's getting ready for a big announcement, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But
okay.
I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to have David, and we also have Erik Zika later on as a guest as well. So I think it's going to be a great show, and we appreciate all you listeners out there joining in for another edition of Meldon Law and Friends.
Hard to believe. This is episode 34. We've been doing this since early November. We've just been rocking along. We haven't missed a single week since then. For those of you who are listening, you are listening most likely on one of, I think it is 39 different audio platforms where we do archive all our programs. And of course, we are live right now on Facebook Live. And we also will have the show archived if you miss it or know someone who missed it on our Meldon Law Facebook page and also on the YouTube page. I'd like to remind everybody, and David, maybe we didn't tell you this beforehand, we are taking questions live on the air. So if you have a question for Carrie Meldon or for David Poe, he's going to be talking about a lot of things going on in the city of Alachua in just a minute or two. If you have a question for Carrie, a question for David, whatever it may be, all you have to do is type the question in on the Facebook Live comments section. David, of course, you come to the table here today with a tremendous amount of experience in Alachua. My understanding is you're the past president of the Alachua Chamber of Commerce, and you're going to be telling us about a great event called Sportsplex, right?
Sportsfest.
Sportsfest.
Yes, I am.
Close.
Glad to. Thank you, Chris. So Sportsfest is actually, the full name is Dollar General Sportsfest Capital City Bank Shootout. And we're going to have it at Turkey Creek this year. We're able to come home. Turkey Creek's been closed for several years, and now it's open again, and we've come home. And so it's this Saturday at starting at 8:30. It's the primary philanthropic event that the Chamber in Alachua holds every year.
It sounds amazing. You know, we had a couple of months ago, the gentlemen who are the entrepreneurs, the driving force behind that Turkey Creek course. It's really amazing how they turned that around.
And someone who lives at Turkey Creek and was a former member there, we're very excited about Turkey Creek being back. And it's volunteer driven. And it's still a work in progress. We're not perfect yet, but it gets better every week. So we're excited about it.
Well, Sportsfest sounds great. I'm looking forward to hopefully participating in it. And in Alachua County, in the city of Alachua, Turkey Creek has been there for, when was it originally built?
It was originally built in the mid-'70s. I think it opened in '76. And I actually came back from college back to Alachua in '77. So it's been there as long as I've been out of college.
Now, when I was playing it back in the 90s, I remember there was a par 3 with this huge bunker that you had to hit out of. Do you remember that? I think it was the 16th hole, if I remember correctly.
The 16th actually, it might be the 17th hole. Would have
17th hole, yes.
Have two big bunkers, one on each side.
Yeah.
So
it was like crawling out of a crater.
Straight is rewarded.
Is it still? Does it still exist?
It still is, and getting this course open, originally we were able to get 3 holes open as a practice facility.
Wow.
And
That's
so
wonderful.
that hole is one of 3, 10, 17, and 18, that have been in use now for 2 years.
Wow.
And that green is fully grown in and is very nice. And
So-
it'll tell the people that come out there now what it's going to look like a year from now, exactly how these greens will grow back in and be really nice.
Wonderful.
What I was amazed
Not
by,
that they're that bad now.
Wow. was the fact that it was truly a community effort to reopen the Turkey Creek, that it was really just people banding together, people pitching in, pulling out the weeds, doing everything they had to do to restore it. Maybe you could tell the viewers who aren't familiar with the story a little bit about that.
Yes, so when the golf course closed as a result of the recession back in the early 2010s, it grew to weed. And over the years, the people the community at Turkey Creek said, we need to buy this. We need to buy this. And so the homeowners association agreed on a purchase price and took it to the homeowners to say, well, will we buy this? It's going to cost us this, and all of you are going to pay X amount. And we had an overwhelming vote in favor of it. And so the homeowners association bought it. We shopped it out to see if we could find a golf course management company to take over it, but it needed too much upgrade and too much to bring it back for what they wanted to put out. So a group of volunteers got together and they formed an organization, and we've raised some money through that organization, and we upgraded the irrigation system, and we started just people going out there cutting trees back, cutting grass, recreating bunkers. And that's where we have come from. And now we have partnered with a golf course management company, Davy Golf Management, and they are handling our agronomics. And we still have volunteers working to keep the place rolling. And we're looking to grow.
So tell us a little bit about the origins of Sportsfest. I know it's got a longer name, and we'll talk about the Dollar General Sportsfest, and you can complete the name for me. But I want to know a little bit about the origins of it, and tell me what it's for.
Yeah, this is our 31st year, although that is being argued that it may be our 33rd. But back in the late 80s, there was a closed private school in Alachua called Rolling Green, and the city of Alachua bought it, and with the idea of making a recreation facility, because we didn't have good recreation in the city of Alachua then, and it was something that a lot of the citizens wanted to see developed by the city. And so the city bought the school with that idea, and they did, but they still didn't have a budget for it. And so this golf course grew out of the desire to raise funds to renovate the athletic facilities at the old Rolling Green, which is now Legacy Park. Alachua has a fantastic park at Legacy Park now, and it's grown, it's doubled or tripled in size. But the original part of it, a lot of the facilities you see there are things that were built and are funded by the Sportsfest golf tournament, the pavilion, the community pavilion, where you can go down and have barbecues and family reunions. Back in the day, they air conditioned the gym. They replaced the floor. We've replaced the scoreboards for the football field. Several others. But the city developed a budget their own, and they started being able to take care of a lot of that. So a lot of our funding went more directly towards the youth activities up there. And
this really is amazing to me, listening to you explain this, because we were talking even before we went on the air. You are, a past president of the Alachua Chamber of Commerce. We had the current president, Mitch Glazer, on just not long ago. And I think for the viewers and listeners who may not be fully familiar with the city of Alachua, it's really incredible, the commitment I see from the chamber there to economic development, to recreation, to youth activities. And this really seems to be falling in line with that.
Absolutely. And and when I roll into what Dollar General's role in this is, you'll see how what our vision is that as a chamber was youth athletics builds the kind of things you want in a future business owner and a future employee. And we want those people to stay in Alachua and to have an opportunity to. And we wanted them to have the skills that they needed. It's teamwork, it's responsibility. You have to be there every day. You have to be responsible to your teammates and to your coaches.
Wow.
All of these things that are taught in organized youth sports are things that transfer over later into life and mean something in the business world, to business owners and to people that work.
Very well put, David.
I was also, talking with you before we went on the air, speaking of athletic background, You were telling me that you actually played for the Gators. You were a teammate of a good friend of ours, Wayne Fields, and then you returned to Georgia. So maybe talk a little bit about your athletic pursuits.
Yeah, well, they had a position at the University of Florida back then that they don't have on the football team now. It's called tackling dummy. And so
I think they still have that. But
they do. I was a walk-on at the University of Florida. I played my high school ball at Woodward Academy in Atlanta, Georgia, where our family's originally from. We came here in 1961, but I finished my education up there. And I wanted to keep playing football, and I had the opportunity to come to Florida and walk on and played for a year. It was the last year they had freshman ball, so I was on the freshman team. And
Interesting.
but I had an injury the next year, and so that put an end to pursuing continuing football. And those things happened, but it was a great experience, and I wouldn't trade the fact that I got to play a year of college football for anything.
I agree. That's awesome. So you are a huge Gator fan from
not
Georgia.
Not exactly. Well, I'll let him explain that.
My father played for the University of Georgia under Wally Butts, so I grew up with red and black in the house, and so and that blood was pretty thick too. So we still kind of like the Dogs.
Well, that's okay. My father went to Ohio State.
Yeah,
he did,
and he grew up a Buckeye.
Yeah,
but now he's a Gator, so you can like
both.
You can like two teams.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And we've had some very spirited games, of course. I mean, how do you think your Bulldogs are going to do this upcoming year?
Well, we always have hope.
Yeah.
So
under Kirby Smart, you guys have been right up there at the very, very top.
I think they're going to have a real good football team this year, but you really never know. Does the offensive line come together? Does the defensive backfield, a lot of replacements, are they going to be what they need to be? So you just, and who gets hurt? Who do you lose that you don't anticipate?
Well,
and that goes for every team.
Even though you may be predominantly a Bulldog fan, we want you to come to our event this week. We have tomorrow the grand opening of the Meldon Law Ocala office. We've been talking about this now for really months, and it's finally come together. It is tomorrow, Wednesday the 16th of June from 4:30 to 7 p.m. Carrie, I know you're pretty excited about that. You and your father have put so much into this.
This is going to be a really fun event, and everybody is welcome. So anybody out there that's listening to our Facebook podcast, please come to 1326 South Pine Avenue. It's in Ocala, Florida. We're going to have pizza. We're going to have drinks. We're going to have great music. We're going to have Albert and Alberta. And there's a rumor that I guess is fact now that the head ball coach, Steve Spurrier himself, will be attending the ribbon cutting, along with the mayor of Ocala and other dignitaries as well. So
you can shake the old ball coach's hand, right?
Absolutely, I'd love to. Anytime.
Go ahead. Tell us more about it.
Love Coach Spurrier.
So we're really excited to have our grand opening tomorrow. It's Wednesday from 4:30 to 7 p.m., rain or shine, although we're going to be hoping for shine tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be, I know it's going to be a great event, and we're really excited to have our official opening tomorrow at 4:30 to 7 on 1326 South Pine Avenue, Ocala.
That's right. You won't miss it. It's on 441, and there is a giant electronic sign out front. This man is on it. Jeffrey's on it. We're rolling some of the commercials you may have seen the last couple of weeks and months, and we also run a lot of community service news. So it's open to everybody. And I want to switch gears for a second because we do have a Facebook question. We've only got a minute left, but before the break, do you have room for golfers this Saturday? And if so, how do we join?
Well, we're pretty full actually, but we may have room for one or two teams. Mm-hmm. And if I can, after the break, I can give you a phone number for the chamber, and they can call there for more details. Sounds
like a plan. Again, you are watching Meldon Law and Friends, a weekly live podcast brought to you by Meldon Law. Check out our website at www.meldonlaw.com. Give us a call anytime, toll free at 1-800-373-8000. On behalf of Carrie Meldon and myself, Chris Qualman, we will be right back after this.
The Gator Nation will be the first to tell you that in all kinds of weather, we all stick together. which is why Meldon Law is honored to be the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. We hope you never find yourself the victim of a serious accident, but if you do, our team is here for you. Gators won't back down from a fight, and neither do we. When you're a member of the Gator Nation, you know what it means to never back down. Meldon Law has been a proud supporter of the Gator Nation since 1971. Two forces that won't back down. As the old saying goes, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em.
Hello and welcome back to today's edition of Meldon Law and Friends. Today is Tuesday, June 15th, 2021. This is episode 34 of our podcast. If you want to take a look at the older editions of the show, you can see them on the YouTube Meldon Law page. You can also go to the Meldon Law Facebook page. And for those of you watching live right now on Meldon Law's Facebook page, if you have any questions for our guest, David Pope, or for Carrie Meldon, we've got Erik Zika coming up on the second half of the show, an entrepreneur who's done a lot of great things in the hospitality restaurant industry. He's going to be talking about that. Also, Carrie, I want to say just a couple more words about that event tomorrow. Huge event, grand opening of the Ocala office. Now, your dad's actually been practicing there for 43 years.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we've had a constant presence in Ocala. This is different, though. Brand new building, and it's all the firms.
This is going to be an incredible opportunity to serve the people of Ocala like we've never been able to serve them before.
True.
And Ocala has an amazing community. They're very tight-knit, and just to have that amazing opportunity to go out there and meet some people tomorrow is going to be worth it. And I want everybody, even if you're not from Ocala, come on down and check out the office.
Definitely.
It's in a great area. It's right off of 441, and you can't miss it.
You won't miss it.
There's
a giant sign.
There's 120 square foot electric billboard that's going to be broadcasting the show.
That's right. And speaking of which, I just learned before we went on the air that the radio program, the Tailgate Show with our friends Jeff Cardozo and Pat Dooley, will be broadcasting live from the show. So by all means, tune in to 8:50 a.m. You can listen to it on your way to the event, or if for any reason you can't make it, you can listen to them any rate. But I know you certainly know Jeff Cardozo very well. You know, he's very involved with things you're doing.
I do, and before we came home to Turkey Creek this year, the last several years, we've been at Ironwood, and of course
Right.
Jeff is a manager, and
Sure.
Eric Thomas,
Eric is great.
the pro out there, is just—he's done a fantastic
He
job
hits
for
the
us.
ball a mile. You ever seen him hit a drive?
Oh, I have. I've played with him.
If you're on his scramble team, you're in a good position, no matter what tournament you're playing.
I know, and unfortunately, he's on one of my best friends' teams, not mine.
So David, we have a question. The question is, if I want my business to sponsor the Sportsfest, how do I go about that?
Well, the best way is to contact the chamber, and they will put you in touch with me or one of the other committee members. And it's a little late right now, but we might still be able to have opportunities for a whole sponsorship. But because of the event is actually this Saturday, all the advertising and other opportunities are just about done.
But for next year,
Next year, we want to hear from you. We would love to have you call.
We're going to do
Absolutely.
something very spontaneous. We're going to take an early break because we're going to bring someone else on that works for you. So,
Super.
Hey, this is, live on the fly. So we're going to take another break. We will be right back with Meldon Law and Friends.
When you're a member of the Gator Nation, you know what it means to never back down. Meldon Law has been a proud supporter of the Gator Nation since 1971. Two forces that won't back down. As the old saying goes, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em. The Gator Nation will be the first to tell you that in all kinds of weather, we all stick together. which is why Meldon Law is honored to be the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. We hope you never find yourself the victim of a serious accident, but if you do, our team is here for you. Gators won't back down from a fight, and neither do we.
Hello and welcome back. We took a spontaneous break there because we have a wonderful guest that has showed up, and we're so happy she's here. Romina Mincy has been working in Alachua, working in banking and servicing the community since 2011, and you're very, very involved in the projects that we've been talking about. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Yes, Alachua is my hometown for me now. The chamber does a lot for Alachua, and all the proceeds that we do, all the events we do, all the proceeds do go back into Alachua, which is really neat, and that's why I'm very big on it. So the Sportsfest is coming up, and I'm sure you guys know that all those proceeds that we gain from the Sportsfest will go back into the community, whether it's the schools or a sports team that the Alachua is trying to make for the kids or the libraries. So I do go around and I collect all the door prices from all the businesses around. So we have a lot, and I will say a lot, of gift cards to give away. We have a lot of golf bags and
Lots of stuff.
Lots of stuff to give away.
So we have some questions. I want to jump to them because we've asked people to type in questions. One of them was already asked. If a business wants to sponsor, David told us just to have them contact the chamber, correct? Mm-hmm. And what is the tea time on Saturday? And will you be providing food? Got to have food for the golfers.
Oh, that's a great question. If you have a bunch of golfers together, you better have food, or you won't have a bunch of golfers. Yep. We tee off at 8:30. It's a shotgun start, and we look to have a full field of 22 teams.
Wow.
And we're going to feed you. We've had Fitz Kane grilling sausage dogs every year for the last 20 at least.
Did you bring some samples? Carrie and I are kind of hungry.
Yeah, I know it, and I should have. But also, Miapa is providing a full breakfast for
wonderful.
us.
The best.
And, I tell you, they
are amazing.
They're in Alachua too. They're not just in Gainesville.
They do. I've been there.
And I love going there for lunch, and I love that they're in Alachua and everything that they've done for the city. And so they're going to provide breakfast for us. Mm-hmm. And then our lunch is going to be catered by Conestogas, who's been in this from the beginning. Rick Robertson there is one of the original founders of Sportsfest.
Greatest burger, I swear, I think I've ever had. They make an amazing hamburger.
So I was born and raised on Millhopper Road, which is not too far from Alachua. We'll talk about that in a second. And when I was a kid, I guess in the 90s and 2000s, they started doing the challenge over at Conestogas. So for those listeners out there, you're familiar with the challenge, of course, David. Why don't you tell those people out there at Conestogas what you win? I don't know what you win, but I've never seen anyone accomplish it before.
I hadn't looked at the details lately, but you've got to eat a lot of meat.
Yes.
Some giant steak.
It used to be 3 16-ounce patties stacked on top of each other. And whenever we would go out there, we were 16, 17, we were young men, we were all in athletics, we thought we can do it. Not one person can finish it. I mean, these burgers, it was 3 of their pound burgers stacked on top of each other.
Yeah.
But it's great food. Conestogas is definitely a legendary restaurant, and it's awesome that they're involved in Sportsfest. I didn't know that. That's kind of a cool,
absolutely.
That's a cool deal.
So my understanding is we were talking some volunteer opportunities. Maybe talk to our viewers and listeners a little bit about that.
Yes, so South State Bank and my team, we volunteer every year, and we go out there and we man the registration, and we collect all the funds for the tickets, that everyone wants to purchase, the 50-50. We have the door prize tickets, and we have the mulligan tickets that we sell.
Okay.
Which is really neat because all the golfers will purchase all the tickets, which is nice. And then during lunchtime, while people are eating lunch, we will raffle out the tickets of all the prizes and the 50-50. So, but other than that, we do have this year Bite Squad's coming out.
Cool.
They're going to volunteer to help. We have South State, and we have a friend of ours, Pedro, that comes out to volunteer.
Good old Pedro.
So it's nice.
Well, let me ask you, so the city of Alachua, or is it the city of Alachua, and how do we juxtapose that to the county? I want to have the final answer today on Meldon Law
You're not going to have
Friends.
it from me, because I was raised in Naples, and I came here only 10 years ago.
But you are on the chamber.
I
We're
say-
putting you on the spot. You're the vice president, and we have past
so
president
I say
here. So.
Alachua,
Would you like me to help you out on that one?
But you
All
can
right.
correct me, yes.
Either pronunciation is acceptable.
There you
Now,
go.
back in the 60s, the biggest industry in Alachua was Copeland Sausage Company. It's now a small industrial park over by the Progress Corporate Park, where our biotech sector is. And they had a bumper sticker that said, Alachua all the way.
Alachua all the way. I
So
like it.
people started just calling it. Well, I think they put it on the bumper sticker, and then so everybody started calling it just Alachua instead of Alachua, and it kind of distinguished us from Alachua County. So you had Alachua County, and you had the city of Alachua.
Alachua all the way.
The
I like
origins of it. It was
That is
civic
good.
pride.
That's the first I've ever heard of it.
Yeah.
And you know what? It makes sense because the city is very close now. I mean, what you're doing out there is absolutely
It
incredible.
truly is.
It's almost a Shangri-La for North Central Florida in a lot of ways, and it's getting better and better. We've had some incredible guests. I've spoken to Mitch Glazer, Rich Blazer. I know our next guest has gone out there and checked it out before. And if you haven't been to Alachua or Alachua, whatever you want to call it, you got to go check out all the things that are out there.
Yeah.
The parks, the biotech sector, the restaurants, everything. It's
I wanted
really
to, I
incredible.
wanted to, in fact, pivot to let's talk about the city as a whole right now. I know so many exciting things, like Carrie is saying, are going on. Both of you with your involvement in the chamber, what can you tell the viewers and listeners who may not be familiar? Heck, we're not fully familiar with everything. So what's going on now and in the future?
Go ahead.
No, you can go ahead.
Well, I would just start with, is we call it the Good Life Community for a reason. It is a good life community.
Okay.
And I might take the story of our incoming city manager, Kamal Latham, was when he came, and he was with the Gainesville Chamber, and he did a great job there. I think they actually moved to Alachua, and when he took his next position with the U.S. Virgin Islands, they kept their home here, and now they're coming back, and he's going to be the new city manager in Alachua. I think it's starting in August. Adam, who's done a great job, is he's going to pursue some business interest, but that tells it all you need to hear. As Kamal said, I want to it's a good life community. That's where I want to live.
I believe it.
We have a question on that point. The question is, Alachua is the hub and epicenter for the biotech sector in the state of Florida. So why Alachua? How did that happen?
Yeah, well, I'm sure there's a lot of history there, and it was the main reason is because Alachua welcomed the opportunity to put the park there and the industry there
Sure.
from the foundation. The University of Florida Foundation had that property, and Florida was looking at where do we put our biotech and put an incubator, and so Sid Martin Biotech Incubator was born, and that was the genesis of it. Alachua was welcoming to him and said, "Come up here, we want you to be here." And I actually come from the other side of Alachua with Alachua Commerce Center. That's the company that I work for, the company that owns Alachua Commerce Center. We've done the distribution centers and the other industrial buildings in that development on that side of town. So we have a diverse economy, and I think that's a good part of it.
And you have a banker here as well. Romina,
Yeah.
tell us how you got into banking over at South State. And it was it was formerly known as a different name, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
So we were first, I was Gateway to begin with, and we were 3 little branches, just one in Ocala, one in Gainesville, one in Alachua, and then 10 years later, It got sold to Center State, which is totally fine. Center State's great. And then Center State merged recently, June 1st, with South State Bank. And the reason for that is because we were buying all the mom and pop's little branches, going up north to give our customers more branches and ATMs. And instead of continuing that, we've merged together as a whole.
Terrific.
And it's going great, honestly.
Wonderful.
We only have about a minute and a half left. I just want to acknowledge, we didn't really get into the history of it, but Dollar General is, of course, the tournament sponsor for your event this weekend. I know you're very happy with that.
That they are, and when the distribution center came to Alachua, their general manager said, we want to be a part of the chamber and we want to be a part of building this community. And Dollar General's always had an emphasis on literacy, and that is where most of their philanthropic activities go, and they saw the connection in keeping kids in school so they could play sports and they could learn these things and grow up to be employees in the future, and they saw this is a nexus for us.
Is there a website or anything people can go to get information about Sportsfest?
We don't have a website for that, but they can get it on the Alachua Chamber website.
Go to the Alachua Chamber website. The event is this weekend. Tea time is 8:30 a.m.
Yep.
You heard lots of great things about it. There's still opportunities to play, and we wish you the very best. I know it'll be a fantastic event.
And when David said shotgun start, that does not mean an actual shotgun. Even though we were out in Alachua, they still do it the modern way, not the old school way.
Well, David and Romina, thank you so much. Well, hey, we hope you'll make it down to Ocala tomorrow for our grand opening. We'll talk more about that. We're going to be right back with Erik Zika, a well-known entrepreneur. He'll be talking about all kinds of things. You're watching Meldon Law Friends. We'll be right back.
When you're a member of the Gator Nation, you know what it means to never back down. Meldon Law has been a proud supporter of the Gator Nation since 1971. Two forces that won't back down. As the old saying goes, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em. The Meldon Law Firm from the beginning has been built on giving back to the community. I enjoy coming to work as much today as I did in 1971 when I opened my practice. I don't look at this as a job, I look at it as serving other people. While we're alive, what better feeling can you achieve than knowing that you've helped other people and thereby you enrich your own life?
Being a client at Meldon Law was special because I felt like I was really being listened to and I felt welcome by the entire staff. If I were in a situation where I needed legal advice and help, I would absolutely reach out to Jeffrey because his reputation alone speaks for itself. But on a personal level, I know that he would take care of me and help me solve those problems, and I would feel safe with him.
And I was in an accident. Someone ran a red light and hit me, and I was hurt. You don't know where to turn. Luckily, I called Jeffrey. These big insurance companies, they don't want you to win. They truly don't. But Jeffrey and his firm and the people that work here, they just really fight for you. You call the law offices of Jeffrey Meldon because you're going to need help, and they will help you.
Well, I was in a truck accident. Because of the accident, I've resulted in 3 back surgeries. We saw advertisements on TV, and guess who popped up more often than that? It was Jeffrey. The communication that he provided was so appreciative. He shows his compassion as a human. He assisted us in achieving one of our dreams, the acquisition of a home, and we're here today with smiles on our face with the assistance from Jeffrey.
The Gator Nation will be the first to tell you that in all kinds of weather, we all stick together, which is why Meldon Law is honored to be the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. We hope you never find yourself the victim of a serious accident, but if you do, our team is here for you. Gators won't back down from a fight, and neither do we.
Hello and welcome back to Meldon Law Friends, a weekly podcast brought by Meldon Law, a statewide law firm with offices in Gainesville, where we've been for 50 years, South Florida, covering the entire Tri-County area from Miami-Dade through Broward, through Palm Beach County, and also in Marion County, where we've been for 43 years. And tomorrow is our grand opening of the brand new office building at 1326 South Pine Avenue. Carrie was talking about it during the first half of the show. It's open to everybody. We want people to come.
The more the merrier.
Absolutely.
Free food, free drink, the head ball coach.
There you go.
Alberta, the mayor. We've got great music. There's no reason you shouldn't be there tomorrow. 4:30 to 7, 1326 South Pine Avenue. It's on 441. Come from Gainesville, come from Orlando, come from
anywhere.
Ocala, come from Micanopy. We don't care. Bring it on. We're ready for you.
Bring it on. That's our motto. It's interesting, Gary. I was on the phone. I was telling your dad, Jeffrey, I was on the phone with the surgery center just on a routine matter regarding one of our cases, and one of the assistants said, "Hey, we saw the ad on television about your grand opening. Can we come?" And I said, "Of course. Tell your friends. We're going to have the mayor of Ocala there doing the ribbon cutting, like you said, the head ball coach, Steve Spurrier, Albert and Alberta."
Oh, and great giveaways. We didn't talk about the giveaways yet. There's
Huge
going to be
giveaways.
signed items by
basketball
coach,
football
coaches, softball, baseball.
All you got to do is show up.
You just got to show up.
You're going to be there, right?
I will try my best to make it this weekend if I can, take some time away from work.
Okay. Well, to that end, I'm going to let Carrie introduce our next guest, an extraordinarily successful, well-known entrepreneur, a guy who's built businesses from the ground up. So take it away.
Yeah, Erik, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Carrie.
Erik Zika, why don't you introduce yourself to the listeners? How did you first get to Gainesville?
I came to Gainesville back in 2001 to go to school. I went to the University of Florida, graduated in 2005. I had, over the course of my tenure at the University of Florida, developed a passion for the restaurant and nightlife industry. And after a couple stints in both New York and Los Angeles, I decided to make my way back to Gainesville and open up some businesses.
So what was the first business that you were involved with in Gainesville, and when was it opened?
In 2007, I opened up a restaurant in downtown Gainesville called 101 Downtown. It was open for 9 years. We opened another restaurant in 2009 called 101 Cantina. And then we have parlayed those into our current restaurant, which I'm operating right now, Original American Kitchen, in downtown Gainesville as well.
So downtown Gainesville has really been the hub for your business experience, at least in Gainesville. I know 101 Cantina was next to the Swamp Restaurant for a few years until they redeveloped that whole area. But downtown Gainesville is kind of your passion, I would say.
No, downtown Gainesville's always had that very nice, like homey feel, and it had that southern flair, the southern vibes. However, like of late, like some new projects are coming into downtown, which will change that charm a little bit, but I also think it's good. It's going to bring a lot more jobs to the area. It's going to bring a lot more vibrance as well. And, a big initiative that we took, I took a big part of during COVID was in order to get the open container law passed, which we did, and now it's actually going to go forward for the rest of time. We don't think it's actually going to stop, but all that does is bring a nice sense of place to downtown and the whole community, and you can, instead of everything being so strict, when you leave at one of the businesses, you can take your drink, you can go outside.
Maybe explain that a little bit, because I'm not even fully familiar with that.
Yeah, it's an initiative that during when COVID happened, that the city and a lot of the different restaurateurs and nightclub bar owners, things like that, they got together, and it was something I brought forward to everyone together as a whole, and I thought of it from different cities like Austin and Charleston and things like that, where these things, and they do work and they do flourish, and it also creates a nice sense of place. And because of COVID, that brought the opportunity to actually come to light. They approved it, and now they like it so much that they're just going to keep it going.
When you say they, you're talking about the Gainesville City Commission.
Yeah, the City Commission approved it in a vote.
I know you've worked for a lot of years now with the City Commission on a multitude of matters, and you're starting to get a sense of how the cities work, because that's one thing that you're never really taught in school, whether it's high school or college, is how do governments function? And now you have good relationships with the police officers, the city, and it sounds like things are going really well downtown in Gainesville.
Yeah, we work directly with the city manager, Lee Feldman, on this initiative, and then the city commission, went to it and made a vote on it, and that was my stint as my short-lived stint as a politician.
Well, let me ask you this: our listeners may not have been to your restaurant. It's a great restaurant. It's called Oak. But it stands for Original American Kitchen. If you haven't been to Original American Kitchen, it's a varied audience. It skews from, I've seen, college age, middle age, to even the elderly go there because it's amazing food and it's a great environment. Why don't you tell the audience a little bit about Oak and what it was designed for and how the concept came about?
Thank you, Kerry. It's Original American Kitchen, so we're bringing a lot of Southern type inspired dishes and bringing a modern flair to them. We've done our research. When I ever am trying to come up with a restaurant concept, first of all, I look at the city as a whole and what they're missing. And then I do my research and I go around to neighboring cities, all over the country, or whatever it may be, look in the South. And we really thought that a Southern restaurant with a nice ambiance and nightlife aspect would do really well here. And we're in our 6th year now. And we invite everyone to come. We have like Carrie said, to your point, we have a lot of different types of genres that we work with. And we have survived COVID, and to everyone in this industry during this time, it was a very challenging time, but for anyone that has survived it, we got to just keep on going, and hopefully now that, with the HR issues are going to start, going down, because that was a huge issue in our industry.
What do you mean by that?
Just the lack of employees or anyone that were people that were trying to apply. There was not a large workforce, probably due to the unemployment and things along those lines.
I wanted to ask you about that because I know there are several well-known restaurants, some that have yet to open, that are having that issue. And I personally, I think it's a lot of things. I think it's the unemployment, but also maybe a lot of students that otherwise might be part of the talent pool are still doing study at home type things and whatnot. Do you see that starting to get back to normal, or what do you foresee for the future in terms of, as you say, the HR?
It's slowly trending upwards, but it's still a very tough task overall. I mean, to your point, a lot of restaurants have been on delays on trying to get open just for the sheer fact of just hiring. So it is a challenge across the board in the landscape. I'm sure if you go by any restaurant, whether it's here in Gainesville or in any other city, you'll see a help wanted sign on the door. That's just kind of the environment that we're living in. But also it has increased wages across the board. Those are good things. But what it's going to do is going to really make the cream of the crop rise to the top. Also with Gainesville, there's been so much expansion in general with Archer Road and everything along those lines that it has made the talent pool there's a lot more employees needed based on the demand.
Sounds that way. You've been here since 2001, I think you said.
Yes, sir.
So you've been here 20 years, and you've obviously seen a lot of changes. You were referring to it earlier. You were talking about new projects, things going on downtown, the big hotel, the Santa Fe expansion. Talk about some of those things and how you think that's going to affect your business and people like you.
To me, I actually love when new businesses open. I welcome them. Like, I'd rather a bunch of different businesses be open compared to 4 lease signs everywhere. That's not good for everywhere. Like, that's why I try to create the Open Container Initiative, because you want downtown to be a destination where people come. And if we can actually get people from Tioga and Hale and all those types of places out west and north to come downtown, we want to promise a memorable experience. So
speaking of
you just
Hale,
got to find parking, and then you can hop around to all the different places.
Speaking of Hale Plantation, I heard you you and your lovely wife and your brand new daughter, Scotland, just purchased a house and are moving out there. So congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, we are closing on July 16th. So we're just assuming that everything goes well with the appraisal, that we'll be able to move.
I get the impression, tell me what you think about this, that even though there's a talent pool issue, people want to get out, though. I'm sensing, some of the concerts that have started to happen in theaters, people are buying tickets for things 8 months in advance that are now sold out. Are you seeing that in the restaurant business?
Oh, for sure. There definitely has been an uptick as far as, even, the amount of people that are coming out. Like, our reservations are definitely increasing. The wait times. I mean, when you go to any restaurants downtown, a lot of the places are going to be on waits now, and it's just great overall for the industry. And especially just the vibrance of downtown as a whole in general. You want that kind of thing, because when restaurants are on waits and stuff like that, what is that going to force other people to do? They're going to go to the next spot.
They're going to go to another restaurant.
They're going to go to the next spot and grab a drink, and they're going to put their name on the list or whatever it may be. So it's going to get everyone to get some revenue for everybody.
Sounds terrific. Yeah. We want to remind everybody you are watching Meldon Law and Friends, a live weekly podcast brought to you by Meldon Law, a statewide law firm with its primary office where Jeffrey's been since 1971. You can call us anytime toll free at 1-800-373-8000. Our primary practice areas include personal injury cases, meaning victims of catastrophic truck crashes, motor vehicle collisions, slip and fall, trip and fall, what we call premises liability cases. We even handle dog bite cases. Heck, we've been handling kids on scooters, kids on bicycles, pedestrians. Anytime it's a matter involving someone hurt due to the negligence or recklessness of another, give us a call at Meldon Law. We'll be right back. We're having Erik Zika here for our final segments on this show. We're going to talk a little bit more about the big grand opening tomorrow. I know Carrie and Jeffrey are very excited. I'm excited about it. We want everybody to come. Again, you're watching Meldon Law and Friends. Thank you for watching. We'll be right back with one more segment.
When you're a member of the Gator Nation, you know what it means to never back down. Meldon Law has been a proud supporter of the Gator Nation since 1971. Two forces that won't back down. As the old saying goes, if you can't beat them, join them. The Gator Nation will be the first to tell you that in all kinds of weather, we all stick together, which is why Meldon Law is honored to be the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. We hope you never find yourself the victim of a serious accident, but if you do, our team is here for you. Gators won't back down from a fight, and neither do we.
Welcome back to Meldon Law and Friends. Today is Tuesday, June 15th, 2021. Carrie, one thing your father says each and every episode, and frankly, we can't say it enough, Meldon Law is the only official law firm sponsor of the Florida Gators. And to that end, one of the things that I know your father's been very proud of, you as well, are all the ticket giveaways that we've been doing throughout the spring. And your father is emphasizing they're still going on. We'll be having them again in the fall. You know, whether it's football, whether it's basketball, whether it's volleyball, everything that involves a Gator varsity sport, we will be having ticket giveaways. All you need to do, and we urge you to do this now. We're going to have some things going on this month and over the summer. You just never know. You just got to check out the website. Go to www.meldonlaw.com. Right at the very top, you'll see a banner for giveaways, swag, all sorts of stuff. You just have to keep checking out that website. That's all you have to do.
Yeah, Dad is the king of swag.
He is.
You know Jeffrey. He's got mad swag. And if you join our newsletter, which you could sign up on our website, www.meldonlaw.com, then you will get some more advanced notice of when we're doing giveaways inside the office of his swag, whether it's these amazing cooler cups.
And they're great cups, trust me.
Or anything else that he has. So make sure you follow the meldonlaw.com and sign up for the newsletter. Erik, I wanted to get back to you about Oak. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about the cuisine that's going to be that's offered at Oak? Does it change? Is it pretty how do you create a menu?
We like to do menu changes seasonally. So we typically do like 3 menu changes a year, roughly. And during COVID, it was a lot more difficult to actually execute menu changes. Most restaurants around the country, they actually limited their menu size because of the issues with supply chain across the country with various proteins, produce, whatever it may be. And then what you'll also start noticing, and this is not just for my restaurant or anything else, with inflation, the prices are going to slowly start to rise, and that's because our products that we are buying are way more expensive than they used to be. So you'll see $1 or $2 here or there more on most menus across the country.
This kind of doves into, there's a question I always ask. We have an entrepreneur like yourself, and that is, what advice would you give to someone, whether it's like yourself or a young person who's maybe coming out of college wanting to start a business? And I'd like you to talk about how you learned all of this. I'm sitting here thinking about it.
How many total businesses have you opened in your life? I know it's been at least 7 or 8.
Is it trial and error, or how did you do it?
Yeah, I've made plenty of mistakes in my career. Literally, it's all about just keep on going, working really hard, and you learn from your mistakes. And as long as you are very passionate about what you're doing and you work really hard, you'll end up being successful in the long run.
So, like I said, though, we've had other people like yourself, maybe in high tech or other things. Kids are uncertain what they're going to do. Heck, I got 3 of them, triplets who just graduated college, about a year and a half, 2 years ago. What would you say to young people right now who are looking to make a mark in this world?
With the internet, possibilities are endless. Just be creative, come up with any ideas that you might have, follow your dreams. To be honest, I'm actually moving into the app sector and the tech sector myself, and I'm actually working in Alachua County at San Francisco Tech City, so I'm quite freaking with the area, and it's if you have a dream, it's literally just work really hard to pursue it, and hopefully good things come out.
Anything you can elaborate on?
It's an app. It's called Beach Base. It's meant to provide a resort-style beach experience anywhere.
Beach Space.
Beach Base.
Beach Base.
Yeah. It's meant to provide a resort-style beach experience anywhere. We're going to be launching in the Fort Lauderdale area for our beta testing in mid-July. And you know how difficult it is when you're planning to go to the beach and you're packing the car with all the kids and everything you have to remember. The whole idea is forget about all that, just get in the car and go, and we'll take care of everything for you. Your chairs will be on the beach for you, your umbrellas, your cooler.
What a great idea.
All your refreshments, toys for the kids, anything else that you might want, even your sunscreen and your towels. So we'll take care of it all for you.
And then you'll pick it up as well.
Yeah, and then our breakdown team will break down everything, and so you literally can just get up, and then your car you don't have to worry about your car getting all sandy and lugging everything back to your car and everything along those lines.
So it's like an Uber app for the beach. Almost.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if an Uber app would be a great comparison, but if you wake up that morning, you could do it the same day.
It allows you to be spontaneous. If you want to go on a date or something, like let's go to the beach, you can just do that.
What an idea! I think that's terrific.
It's released here on Meldon Law Friends.
There you go.
I didn't know. I didn't want to let the cat out of the bag, but Erik.
But we're getting close, so might as well. And we were talking about Alachua. That's where the app is being developed at Collective & Co.
Oh, very
wow.
good.
So this is something maybe by later in the summer there might be some more info about it.
Yeah. We're going to be doing beta testing in mid-July, and then we'll see. Because it's a very big logistical app from inventory perspective and everything along those lines on the back end. So we just have to make sure that the product works during testing and everything along those lines, and then we will start pitching.
Beach Base. It's a cool idea.
Beach, B-A-S-E, Beach Base. Okay,
Base.
there you got it, folks. Yeah. If anybody has a question for Erik Zika, maybe about his brand new app that he just let out of the bag or anything else he's done, maybe you're interested in, heck, maybe you want a job at his restaurant or whatever it may be, now's the time to ask. Don't be shy. Type it in the Facebook, on our Meldon Law Facebook page, type it in the comments section. Maybe you got a question for this man about all the things he's doing. And Carrie, we haven't really talked about the Lauderdale office.
No.
How are things going to South Florida?
So I knew about Beach Base because one of Erik's partners is located in Fort Lauderdale. I know they've been working on it for quite some time, and I've represented Erik's company and for various capacities. Some we won't talk about today, but it's always been interesting, and I consider them my good friends more so than anything else. But the Fort Lauderdale office it's always going to be a work in progress. It takes about, and you've been around for 6 years at Oak, it takes a few years to really turn the corner. And right now we're starting to get more and more cases from South Florida, and we're going to use that to continue the momentum moving forward. We're getting great results. In fact, it was funny, I went down to Fort Lauderdale and I started practicing. I was doing the criminal defense from 2018 to 2019. 2020 when COVID hit, and I was traveling almost to 3 cities a day. I was doing the day-to-day activities like I had done earlier in my career, where I was, dressing up in a suit, going to trial, going before the judge, representing clients, and we were getting great results. I was getting better results in Fort Lauderdale than I was getting in Gainesville. I'm thinking, what's going on here? No, and I realized that there's a lot more cases in Fort Lauderdale, and the level of preparation that's required is so high in Gainesville that I was coming into Fort Lauderdale courts more prepared than the other attorneys because of the high level of competency with the judiciary, the prosecutor's office, as well as the defense bar here in Gainesville. So, just like you, it took a lot of hard work, and then it's starting to translate. And we're hoping to continue the move up the hill in Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach, as well as Miami. If you've been injured or arrested, I always tell people we're the official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. You give us a call. If we can't help you, we'll find someone that will.
Absolutely.
We have a great network of attorneys throughout the state, and our passion is making sure that our clients will continue to be our clients. And Erik knows that. I've probably worked.
And being in Fort Lauderdale, I did see both you and your dad on the buses down there. So what you guys have all seen in Gainesville is now actually in Fort Lauderdale as well.
And you're going to see them in Ocala, Marion County also. So we appreciate the fact you brought that up. But let me ask you this. So you've like you said, 20 years ago, you came here as a student. You strike me as a guy who's into athletics. What are your thoughts about the Florida sports teams this past year and maybe going forward?
I think we're definitely on the up and up as far as the football team is concerned. I think Emory Jones has a lot of potential.
I think so too. Yeah.
I think he can definitely do some damage in Dan Mullen's complex offensive system. He's been, learning for 3 years now, so I think he's actually going to do a lot of things and surprise some people. He's been working with Quincy Avery, who's one of the best quarterback gurus in the offseason, so I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised.
So you get the inside scoop with some of the players.
I am a big Twitter aficionado, so I'm always learning.
You know what's so
everything
funny?
about what's going
We
on.
had Alex Marvez, who's a friend of all of ours personally, and a friend of the show, and a friend of the firm. The sports writer. And when Jeffrey asked him, Alex, where do you get all this inside information? Twitter. He said, I go on Twitter first thing in the morning and follow
it's
it all day.
where the news comes live before anything else, to be honest.
Erik's a huge Miami Dolphins guy, too, because he's from South Florida. So anything about the Miami Dolphins, if you ask Erik, he could probably answer.
Yeah, unfortunately, Tua threw 5 interceptions in practice today. During a monsoon, though. During a monsoon.
So you know how Tua
that's
did
true.
today.
So we will, so we will give him, we'll cut some slack there. Since
I was 14
rain pour.
during the 17-0 season. I was living in South Florida. I wasn't living in Miami. I was in Lighthouse Point, just north of Fort Lauderdale, but those were some amazing days.
Yeah, 72 and 73 Super Bowl winning teams, and 17-0 and 72.
Well, what do you think? You think there's a chance they can
I was
back
not
up
alive
that
during those times, unfortunately. I was alive during their other Super Bowl appearances, although I was just like 1 year old at that
David
point.
Woodley playing against the Redskins, I remember.
Hopefully, I really like the direction of the team. Brian Flores, I think he's an amazing coach. He's a great leader. And I think that, with the leadership of him and Chris Greer together running the team, and with the ownership of Stephen Ross, that we'll be able to do good things moving forward.
Well, how about it? Are you going to be at our thing tomorrow? You said you got to work, I know, but maybe you can take a little time off and meet the head ball coach.
Yes, tomorrow I can actually. I'll get in the car with Carrie. We'll take a ride down there. Saturday, I'm not
you
sure
two guys
about that.
might cause some damage. I'll tell you.
We'll try to get your partner Tony down too. We'll see if we
right.
can get Tony out of Gainesville. It's kind of hard to do unless he's going to a different country. But
Well, we want to remind everybody, tomorrow is the big day. You've heard us talk about it all show. We're going to talk about it one more time. Tomorrow is the official grand opening ribbon cutting of the Meldon Law brand new office in Marion County in Ocala, 1326. Did I get that right?
1326
South Pine Avenue. And anything you want to throw in about
No,
this?
thank you as always. I know I'm stepping in Jeffrey's big shoes today, but I think you did a great job hosting. And Chris, this new office, we're excited for you to be there too, because you've been a great part of our growth the last few years. We're happy to have you as part of the team. And Erik, thank you for joining our podcast today.
Thank you for having me.
We very much appreciate that, Erik. And, I think you've got some great words of wisdom for entrepreneurs out there. Follow your passion, follow your dream, and
just work really hard.
You just have to work really hard.
You got to work harder than everyone else.
No substitute for working harder than everybody else. Again, everybody, want to thank you. This was episode 34. If you didn't see the whole show, you want to watch it again, it'll be on the Meldon Law Facebook page. It'll also be on YouTube, on the Meldon Law YouTube page. You can see all of our 33 prior episodes. We had the head ball coach himself. We had so many people. You know, Pat Dooley, the sports writer, Robbie Andrew. We could go through so many different people. It was terrific, and we got lots of great things. We're going to be at the new Spurrier's restaurant. In fact,
Spurrier's Gridiron Grill is going to be amazing. It's going to be a centerpiece of Gainesville, and you know, and I know Eric and I support Celebration Point too. We've gone to Prime and Pearl, and we're looking forward to checking out Spurrier's.
I spend
as well.
a lot of money at all the restaurants. So, that's what you got to do in the community.
All right. Again, thank you so much. This was episode 34. Looks like it's a wrap, and we'll be seeing you next week. Thanks again for watching. And
Bye, guys.
Thank you.